hope you enjoy yourself today. Thank you for being here, and we will get started with our program. Reverend John Snyder, would you lead us in the invocation?
Let's start in silent prayer. Let us bow our heads in silent prayer. We give you thanks, O Lord, for your servant Julia and for all that she means in the life of our church, of our community, of the children who pass through her care and guidance, and for the many good things that she has given to us. We pray thee, therefore, thy richest blessing upon her as she leaves to start another life, with the hope that we will continue to know her and her new way of life. And we pray that you would continue to guide and bless this school, that you would be with the parents who bring their children here, with those who support this school. For this would be Julia's best wish, for we ask it in your name. Let the congregation together say, Amen.
Good afternoon, friends. Hi. My name is Michael Gaylor. I'm the president of Menaul School. Actually, as of Tuesday night, when the Board of Trustees of Menaul School met and changed the bylaws, I'm actually now Michael Gaylor, head of school for Menaul. And I'm very pleased to be here today to honor Julia Hudson. After 40 years of dedicated service to John Hudson School and Chimayo community. We're gathered here today as a community of learners. Many of you have passed through these doors, I know, as students. Many of you have parents, as parents of students, grandparents of students, or in one way or another, your life has been touched by the work of John Hudson School and by the work of Julia Hudson. We indeed are a community of learners. We're also a community of faith. And we're here today to honor and celebrate the work of Julia Hudson. I joined Menaul School 4 years ago, actually, so I'm a newcomer to Menaul and John Hudson. I've known Julia since I arrived on the scene to raise money for Menaul School, and obviously during the past couple of years as head of school for Menaul and working with Julia and Sadie at John Hudson School. But my knowledge of the school and my commitment to the school dates back much further than that. I arrived in New Mexico in 1985, a lifelong Presbyterian. My father-in-law was the executive presbyter of the Santa Fe Presbytery, which covers this area. And from 1985 on, I heard nothing but John Hudson School, John Hudson School, coming out of the Presbyterian Church, of which I'm an elder and a member in Albuquerque, and out of the Presbytery of Santa Fe. And it truly is an honor to be associated directly with Julia Hudson and the John Hudson School for the last 4 years. Julia Hudson is among what I believe to be an elite group of women who, in my estimation, took up the calling, or took up the proclamation of John Calvin and John Knox that there ought to be a school in every parish. and that we really ought to dedicate ourselves to the mission of not only graduating young people from schools like John Hudson, who are able then to read, write, and do arithmetic, but probably more importantly, be able to graduate from schools like John Hudson and be better able to live with, to work with, and to love other people. And I think without a doubt we can say that Julia Hudson, in her work at John Hudson, has accomplished that. The unfortunate thing is, however, in the Presbyterian Church and in other churches around the world, that this elite group of women is kind of flickering a little bit. You know, we don't see the kind of dedication and commitment that perhaps we did 40, 50, 100 years ago. So there's even greater importance to celebrating the work of Julia Hudson. And I know that's what we have every intention of doing today. And without further comment, I'll turn this over to our Master of Ceremonies, Ryan Cordova, and I hope you all have a wonderful time here. I look forward to visiting with you after the program. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Cordova. I attended John Hudson School. Unfortunately, I was talking to Jacob a little while ago, over 20 years ago. I know I don't look that old, but man, I thought only old people said that. Yeah, I did that 20 years ago, and felt pretty bad saying that a little while ago. It's hard to believe that Miss Hudson has been here for 40 years. And I say Miss Hudson because when I was a student here, of course my mother worked here as a kindergarten teacher, Tina Cordova, and she and Margaret Frankie, Paul Frankie was my best friend when I was going to school here, and we'd always end up having to stay after school or whatever, waiting for the teachers to go home. And of course everybody called her Julia at school. I mean, my mother called her Julia, Margaret called her Julia, Bill called her Julia, everybody called her Julia. And I think one time I called her Julia and it didn't go over real well. So I'll stick to Miss Hudson today. It gives me great pleasure to be the Master of Ceremonies here today. I guess they were looking for somebody that could talk more than Jody Bustos. And they found the one person that could. So I guess they drew straws and I beat Jody. So I'm real happy about that. The second thing I was supposed to do is to make sure that this thing runs on time, because that was my instruction from Margaret Frankie, was the fact that, let's just keep things moving right along. I do know it's hot and some of you aren't under the shade. Of course, that's what you get for being late. But I certainly do hope you have a good time, and we'll try and keep things moving right along. Without further ado, I'll have plenty of other goofy things to say throughout the day, but without further ado, I think we're going to move right along. And I'd like to introduce Miss Nicole Leyba Moya, who's going to be playing the piano. Let's give her a warm welcome, please. Yeah, I didn't get all the information now, did I? Is she playing for the choir, John Hudson Choir, singing Wherever I May Wander? Is that correct? All right. figure if I just steal this and just put it back on. Okay, moving right along. Beautiful, very beautiful. Enrique Iglesias and Britney Spears, watch out. Beautiful, beautiful. Great job. What they've done today is asked a few people to say a few things about Miss Hudson, and what they've done is I guess go by decades. Well, all 4 decades that she's been here. So the first person up to speak is Peter Madrid. He's not here, but Jody Bustos is going to read what he had to say about Julia Hudson.
Well, yes. Peter's in Arizona, so he can't be here. But he did email me this. One of the best parts of being a kid growing up in Chimayo was that wonderful wet snow that fell in winter. It was perfect for making snowmen, snow angels, and especially snowballs. I clearly remember the day of the fateful snowball incident. My mother drove us to school because the bus was late. This was good because I got to school early. Mr. Howell, our principal, had outlawed snowball fights, yet there were a few skirmishes in the outer fringes of the playground. I had just passed the big swings when, pow, I was beamed in the back of the head with a snowball. The culprit was Waldo Montoya. That's what I have. I can't argue with the paper. And he was pretty proud of his strike. My first reaction was to retaliate, which I did. But I had a special snowball in mind for Waldo. I cleared off some snow by the irrigation ditch and found a smooth, medium-sized stone. I packed snow around it, thus producing a lethal spear intended for Mr. Montoya. Now, Waldo was no dummy. Isn't that good to know? He saw what was going on, so like any smart kid, he took off running. He was headed toward the lower parking lot by the main entrance to John Hudson. As he jumped the small wall leading down the parking lot, Miss Hudson appeared from around the corner. It was too late. I had already unleashed my frosty missile. Splat! It hit Miss Hudson smack on the side of the head. I knew I was dead. Waldo was long gone, and I was the only one standing there. I believe I missed recess the rest of the day. I'm lucky I didn't miss it the rest of first grade. But that was just like Miss Hudson. She couldn't be mad at you for very long. The next day I apologized and wrapped her in her long cart scarf, hat, and gloves. She gave me a big hug. You are one of a kind. God bless you.
That again from Mr. Peter Madrid. That was from the 1960s. So we'll move ahead 10 years, and moving right along, we'll go to the 1970s, and our guest speaker is Kathy Leva. Wow.
Well, I'm a third-generation John Hudson student. My grandfather came here, my mother came here, and we came here, and my own children come to school here. And when I think of Miss Hudson, I think of her energy. You know, she never seems to get old. She still looks the same to all of us, and she'll always be that way to me. And my story, what I can remember about Miss Hudson, I'm sure all of you have grown up with those big wooden boxes that are colored every color inside our big room. Well, I remember being in the first grade, and I was very timid, very shy, and we were all sitting in a circle around these boxes doing our work. Now, like I said, I was quiet and shy, so I noticed that the boys next to me were pretty loud and, getting in trouble. And Miss Hudson kept after them, telling them to quiet down, to get it together, all this. And the next thing I knew, as I looked up, and there was Miss Hudson, practically running over the tops of those boxes to these boys. And I still have this memory of her in full stride, And, like I said, she's full of energy. She still has it, and we're going to miss her. So, well, thank you for all you've done.
Thank you, Kathy. You must be trying to keep your job. You said all those nice things. Kathy works with her. For those of you that don't know that. Again, moving right along. That's the great thing about this. We can move right along and say all kinds of neat and sweet things. But we have the John Hudson students, and they're going to recite the 23rd Psalm. And I think what they're going to do is lead the rest of us as well. Some of you may have some handouts of the 23rd Psalm if you don't know it. But they're going to stand. And if everybody else would join us in standing and saying the 23rd Psalm. Thank you. Before the kids sing another song for us, what we're going to do is have our students from the 1980s come up. Before that, you know, the funny thing is, being a teacher, of course I'm a teacher now. My mother taught kindergarten here, and Mom thought it was her obligation to help me be the MC. Of course, you know, moms don't want their kids to embarrass themselves up here, so I understand that. Of course, you have to understand this. Mother thought she had some very funny jokes for me to say up here. And don't you hate it when you go to places and people are emceeing, they just tell really bad jokes? Well, Mom gave me these jokes here to tell, and I couldn't decide if she was trying to like burn me or she thought people were really gonna laugh at these things. And she really wrote them down. And I mean, like 4 of them I put in my pocket because they were so incredibly bad. I read them to Willa and Dana over there, and they're like, Ryan, please don't read those things. So, Mom, I'm sorry, I put them in my pocket. But we did find a couple that pertain to today, right? That weren't too bad. So these are the jokes of a kindergarten teacher. Why did the chicken cross the playground? Come on, after 40 years, you had to have heard this. To get to the other slide, that's right. Yeah, the jokes of a kindergarten teacher. Anyways, I'll save the other really funny ones for later. But before I use up all my funny jokes, I will introduce Dana Abrams, who, last name?
Hughes.
Dana Abrams Hughes. Of course, we all remember her as Dana Abrams. And she was a classmate of mine here and at McCurdy High School, so I feel very honored to introduce her.
Well, I feel honored to be up here telling Miss Hudson what I really feel about what she's done for me and my family. The past week I've been thinking about John Hudson and Miss Hudson and all the great things that happened here. And I just kept on thinking about experience, and the experience that I got from John Hudson, and what it did for me as a person, and what it provided me for the rest of my life. And I really feel like John Hudson gave me the gift of life. And your experiences, my experiences here, all the plays, all the songs, the hikes through the hills, the haunted house in the Torreon, all those wonderful things really made me who I am. And so I'm thankful for that. And the other thing that I kept thinking about was dedication. And I've been a teacher now for 5 years, and I go home sometimes and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And it's a hard job. And I want to tell Ms. Hudson that thinking about you and all that you've done makes me go back sometimes. And I can remember one day I was just thinking, God, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And I thought about Ms. Hudson, and I said, she's done it for 40 years. I can do it another year. So I thank you for everything you've given us, all of your energy, all of your love, and just your wonderfulness. And I hope you have a wonderful retirement, and hope we don't lose you from Chimayo.
Thanks, Dana. The next person I'd like to introduce, it was really nice to see her again. I probably haven't seen her since I was that big. So very nice to see her again, is Willa Roberts. You don't have to wear your shoes if you don't want.
Okay. I don't have a speech otherwise. If I can read this in the sun. It's kind of along the lines of what Dana was saying. The experience thing, that is. It's hard to imagine what my life would have been like had I never attended John Hudson School. Being here shaped me in ways that are surely beyond my full comprehension sometimes. And it was more than just a school. All of my oldest, best friends went here. I met most of them here, in fact. In many ways, John Hudson was one of the central hubs of the community I grew up in. It's equally as hard for me to imagine John Hudson without Julia Hudson. Anyone could agree she has been the backbone of this school for as long as most of us here who attended can remember. She spanned many roles, from teacher to administrator to anything else that came along. Each of us knew her on such an individual basis. I used to call her Huts. I don't know if she remembers that, and I never tried Julia, but but I think she let me get away with it at the time, and that was very magnanimous of her. But she knew all about each individual learning, each of our learning needs individually, and about our unique personalities and abilities. And at the time, I probably had no idea how lucky I was to have this kind of relationship with my teacher. But I certainly do now, because it doesn't happen quite like that all that often. So I just want to congratulate you for 40 years, which is also is just incomprehensible to me at this point in life, but it's fantastic, and I'm really glad that you get to retire, and I hope you do wonderful things with your retirement, and come back and visit.
Well, the last person from this decade is me. And I get to say a few things. Along with being the MC, I get to say a few things. And Jody's booing. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Gotta be a heckler in the crowd.
Yeah. Either way. You know, I was thinking, and I just sat down in that corner, and I don't know why I looked over, and that treehouse is still there. And I think it's been there since I was it there when you guys were there, Waldo? Yeah? I mean, that treehouse has been here for 40 years. And I was wondering, how many kids have actually come up to you over those 40 years and tried to figure out how to get sap off their hands? Because I remember climbing that tree, and I couldn't get sap off my hands. So I was wondering, over the course of 40 years, how many students actually did come and ask you how to get sap off their hands from that tree? But just like that tree, you've been here for 40 years and haven't changed a bit. That's a great thing about that tree house, is that students like Waldo or myself or Dana or the kids here today have all experienced that same exact thing, is that tree house. And that hasn't changed. And over the last 40 years, they've all experienced a relationship with their teacher who would be yourself. And that to me is truly amazing, how one simple thing, such as a tree or one person, can make that difference in that many lives over the course of 40 years. And the stories it could tell. But to me, I don't know why I thought that, but it was just amazing to me. Being a teacher myself, I often wonder how you can go through 40 years and not curse like a sailor. Because I deal with kids every single day, and I guarantee you, I've done it. I'll admit it. I've done it. And how do you not just beat them or bury them in the backyard or something like that? I don't know. But I guess it's after 40 years, it's a lot of patience, is what I gather, is that it is a lot of patience. And though I'm only in my first year of teaching high school, man, I've had to learn to be very, very, very patient. Everybody's bringing up things that they remembered about school here. You know the one thing I remember staying after school. Remember I told you we'd stay after school and get into trouble? Yeah, that was me. And one day after school, we decided to have races. There was a merry-go-round at the far end of the playground. Of course, is it still there? Okay. And we'd race from the ramp up here, right by the back door here. And of course, I was lucky because I was one of the fast ones. And I used to race Jamie B. Hill. And we'd always have races. Of course, it was very competitive. So Jamie and I are lined up, we're taking off, and we get right to about the teeter-totters. And just then, Brad Ortega decided he was going to put the teeter-totter down. So you all have seen WWF wrestling, right? The clothesline. Have you seen that? Where they just throw them off the ropes and they come by and just stick their arm out. Yeah. I was running by and the teeter-totter came down, about mouth high. Boom! Clocked me. I'm out. Knocked my teeth out. And didn't know what to do. Of course, came in and she mended me up and went along with my life. Well, needless to say, about 3 years later, I knocked him out again. But oh well. Those are funny things that I remembered from elementary school here. But the impact that school here has had on me and yourself and any other teachers that are here. I'm a basketball coach, an athletic director, and I teach one class, and they still drive me nuts. I teach one class. And I was reading through They Call Me Coach by John Wooden, who was a famous basketball coach over the 1970s, and longer than that, but that's just when his era was, 10 straight championships. And my life has gone through, and as far as education and sports has combined the two. But as I read through this book, he has a poem in here, and it's called They Ask Me Why I Teach. And after 40 years, I don't know if teachers have ever been asked that, why do you teach? But I thought this was a great answer and a great response to They Ask Me Why I Teach. And I'll read this. This is actually, I'll give credit to Glennis Harmon poem. They ask me why I teach, and I reply, where could I find more splendid company? There sits a statesman, strong, unbiased, wise. Another latter Webster, silver-tongued. And there a doctor, whose quick, steady hand can mend a bone, or stem the lifeblood's flow. A builder sits beside him, upward rise, the arches of a church he builds, wherein the minister will speak the word of God, and lead a stumbling soul to touch the Christ. And all about a lesser gathering of farmers, merchants, teachers, laborers, men, who work and vote and build and plan and pray into a great tomorrow. And I say, I may not see the church, or hear the word, or eat the food their hands will grow. And yet I may, and later I may say, I knew the lad. And he was strong, or weak, or kind, or proud, or bold, or gay. I knew him once, but then he was a boy. They ask me why I teach, and I reply, where could I find more splendid company? And I think that's a great poem, and it touches why you've lasted 40 years as far as being a teacher. Because as we grow up, we all become different things. Some of us are basketball coaches, some of us are teachers, some of us do different things, some of us are artists. But yet when we're children just like this, we have no idea what we are to become. And there is no more splendid company than young kids like this, so the answer is easy, why you teach. And that's what I have to say to you. So. Moving right along, right? You guys are going, come on, you're killing me, Ryan. Moving right along to the 1990s, and probably closest to her heart. I think Ben and Brian were supposed to have some things to say, but I understand Brian didn't do his homework. So Ben would like to visit with you, and he's our next guest speaker. Ben Bustos.
Okay, Miss Hudson, I call her Tia. So Tia is more than my ex-teacher. She's a great aunt, and she's like a second grandma, mom, and a ride home from the bus, and occasionally a babysitter. When I graduated from 3rd grade at John Hudson, she took me to Washington, D.C. We saw almost everything, and I learned a lot. When I get my license, I'll pay her back because we're going on a road trip to Utah to the museums. And when she goes to Santa Fe, I'm kind of worried because every time she leaves, the dog dies. So, that's all.
Ben, do you guys have dogs? Kill them all off, see? Yeah, you buried them? So the kids and the dogs are buried in the backyard? Great. Great. Standing on a ceremonial ground here. I'd like to welcome back the John Hudson Choir singing This Is Our Father's World. Wonderful job, children. Just a minute. Oh, I get to tell my other joke? All right. Thanks, Mom. We did the chicken one, right? Okay. Yeah. Here's the other great joke Mom gave me. Well, at least it pertains to education. Why were Miss Hudson's eyes crossed? I'm serious, that's what it says. Because she couldn't control her pupils. So see, over 40 years she's not blind, she just can't control her pupils. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Sorry about those jokes, folks. Am I buying time here, or what? Oh, okay, I'm buying time. Oh, we have recruits. Good, we have recruit guest speakers. And these are for the 2000 to 2002 decade.
Hello, let's see, where's Brittany? Where did she go? Oh, okay, Brittany. If you can call her, Rudy? Okay, maybe she can. Okay, we have a couple of students here that are happen to be in Miss Hudson's class this year. And is Nico Randall out there? Is Nico here? Nico, come here, honey. Is there anybody else in Miss Hudson's class this year that's here? Sabrina, come on up. Samantha, where's Samantha? Getting water. I don't blame them. Come on up, girls. I think each one of these little kids will say something to Miss Hudson, and we're going to give them a chance, okay?
Thank you, Miss Hudson. My name is Sabrina.
Very good. Okay.
Thank you, Miss Hudson. My name is Samantha. Thank you, Miss Hudson, for teaching me everything that I know. My name is Brittany. Thank you, Miss Hudson, for teaching me not to fight. My name's Ana Maria. Thank you, Miss Hudson, for taking care of me after school. Jennifer. Thank you, Miss Hudson. Teaching me everything I know. Nico.
Thank you, Chad. Okay, great. Let's give him a big hand.
You see, if it wasn't for you, those kids would know nothing because they thank you for everything that they know. So obviously their parents haven't done a thing. So, you know, you may think about this retirement thing one more time. We may have some very confused kids in the future. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to have Ben and Brian Bustos are going to come up and sing Lord of the Dance for you. Now, you don't have your harpsichord, do you? You're not going to help them out any?
We tried to stick the keyboard at it, but it doesn't.
No? Oh, man. Now, do you still play that with the kids? You don't? Are you kidding me? Oh, okay. Well, she used to play this harpsichord every day. When we'd have a little singing, we'd all sit in our circle and she'd play the harpsichord. And, pardon me? Auto harp, I'm sorry. I don't know my instruments after this long. I told you I'm a coach, remember, basketball. Not into music, just coach. But Ben and Brian are going to sing Lord of the Dance. Come on up here, guys. Are you going to dance too? Okay.
I recruited a few other people, so if you would come up now, please. What an excuse, Cecilia. Come on, Dana. Okay. Willa, if you can.
Come on, Willa.
Roy. Ale. Paul. The music's right here. Some of them are kind of shy, so you might not hear too many more voices. Annie, Laura, Elliot,
Rachel's out there.
Rachel. Where's Rachel? Where's Rachel? Rachel, you better come up here. I don't see you, but you better come up here. You're singing 1 and 2, the rest of the things sing 3 and 4 with you.
Came down from heaven and I danced on the earth. At Bethlehem I had my birth. Dance then, wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he. I'll lead you all, wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. And the blood like danced in the heaven and the heavens and stars. They came with me and the dance went on. Dance then, wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all, wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. Dance on the Sabbath and for the Lamb, the holy people sang of the shame. And his strength and me high, and left me there on the cross to die. Dance, dance, wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all, wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. Dance started fighting when the sky turned black. It's hard to dance with the devil on your back. They buried my body and they thought I'd gone, but I am the dance and I still go on. Dance, dance, wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all, wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he.
Jody, if you were a basketball coach, you'd be fired. Because your recruiting didn't help your team very much. All I heard was Ben. Man alive. I'm just kidding. But that was a very nice job. Actually, that's the only song I know, like from the first word to the last word. Because you never asked me. You didn't recruit me. I went to Duke. Yeah, you're coaching for Carolina. Either way, I guess right now what we're going to do is we're going to have a presentation of some special gifts that we have up here. And it doesn't say who all is doing that right now. I guess Mr. Leyba is going to do that for El Buen Pastor Presbyterian Church. Mr. Orlando Leyba. Will you please come on up here? Thank you. Miss Hudson taught me how to read, whoever asked that question.
I don't see Julia. Hello, Julia. Thank you for playing the piano in church. We do need a pianist So stick around, please. Well, she has done a wonderful job. She has played the piano for the last 95 years, I think. And I'm sure that she enjoyed it. We enjoyed having her play for us. And I think that she was an incentive as far as some of the younger kids to go into learning how to play the piano. One of them being my granddaughter, and Trini Ray, and I'm sure others. So we thank you very much. From the membership of the Buen Pastor Presbyterian Church, we are very appreciative of what you have done for us. Not only playing the piano, but the camaraderie that we had with you here, and the way you really helped our church. We thank you very much, and at this time, I'd like to present a gift for you. Julia Hudson, would you come up?
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you to the persons from El Buen Pastor Presbyterian Church and for all the ladies that are helping today with the reception. Thanks. Thanks, Lord.
We need to see what we got you. And I'd like to have you read what is printed there, please.
Don't start a fire. Says Julia Hudson appreciation for a job well done. El Buen Pastor Presbyterian Church, May 11, 2002.
Again, thank you very much, Julia. We certainly appreciate your work.
If you'd like to stay up here and receive your other gifts, you're more than welcome to. Okay. The next presentation of special gifts will come from Dr. Michael Gaylor and Miss Sadie Blair from John Hudson Educational Center.
Before we get to that great gift, we have a couple of appreciation awards to give and some other people to thank. But we have, Ryan, would you please come back up here? This is a gift for Ryan from the group that put this shindig together. And we want you to open it. It's going to bite.
It's not going to pop out, is it? I thought the gift was the boutonniere.
The boutonniere. That was just so you could look great, because I'd never met you before. I wanted to make sure.
Cover it up. Cover up all the bad spots.
You know, he said he was a coach. You know, coaches, are they supposed to be on time everywhere? They better be, if they want to be role models. It won't break. Actually, what it has, if you just notice, it's a little roadster and it has a clock on it. You can tell time. Didn't Miss Hudson teach you how to tell time?
Yeah, but I learned on a digital watch. This seems to be a regular clock. Which one is the second hand? Thank you very much for this. I'll try and be on time.
Now I'd like Nicole to come up. Did Nicole split? Oh, here she comes. We want to thank Nicole for playing, doing the music for us. And go ahead and open it up. And let's see what you think.
Thank you for caring.
It's a little angel. One of our angels. Thank you very much for your help. I'd like to also thank the committee, but we're going to do that right after we give Julia her due. Come on back up, Julia. Now that the wind started blowing. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Julia personally for everything she has done to help me with the transition. I know it was difficult for her, and I care for her very much. She has done a lot more for this school than anybody else could have ever done. The 40 years that she spent here, she worked not only with students and community, parents, businesses, but all the work groups that came from all over the United States. She also worked with all of the donors that helped keep this school together. If it wouldn't have been for Julia, we wouldn't be sitting here, and I wouldn't be here either, and we all need to know that. Please give her a round of applause. Standing ovation, please. This is something that I know that it's been really hard for her. It's been hard for me too, because they're big shoes to fill, really big shoes to fill. And I hope I can do this place justice in her memory, okay? At this time, we'd like to present you with a gift. I want you to know that this comes with all the love and care that you have shown us and that you have shown this community. There's an art piece on this art piece that was done by Kathy Leyva. Kathy, would you please come up here? Kathy, as you know, is not only one of our great people that work here with the children. She's a teacher aide. She's been working on getting her degree in teaching, and we're very proud of her, but she's also a great artist. And as you can see, she can help these kids sing too. And Flossie, where's Flossie? Probably in the kitchen, like Julia says. If Flossie can hear me, if somebody can get her, I'd like to have her up here too. Now, I'm not going to make Julia read it because she can't see in this bright sun, and I hope I can. So we're going to have Dr. Gaylor read it.
This is beautiful. And Kathy, did you do the sketch? This is John Hyson's school right here on this. It's beautiful. Presented to Julia Hudson in recognition of 40 years of service, the John Hyson Educational Center in Chimayo, New Mexico, May 11, 2002. Absolutely gorgeous.
I'll put it on the table so you can look at it close up. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Kathy. Try not to jump over the table.
Before Julia and the rest of us sit down, we had Founders Day at the Menaul School on April 20th of this year, and Menaul School was absolutely delighted to be able to award the James A. Menaul Award for Outstanding Service in Education to Julia Hudson, and it was really a wonderful ceremony at Menaul School in Hart Park, and we were absolutely delighted, as I said, and there was probably no better person and more deserving person to receive this prestigious award than Julia Hudson, so we were very pleased about that. Also, just one other thing, and I've told Julia this many times, just because one retires from a place doesn't mean that one leaves a place, ever. And it was just a couple days ago that a woman last year who served Menaul School for 40 years as an English teacher, retired. Her name was Sharon Rutassa. 2 days ago I saw her on campus, and you know what she was doing? She was assisting the 11th grade English teacher in teaching Shakespeare. So we expect to see Julia Hudson back here helping with the continuing education of all the students at John Hyson School. Thank you.
Oh, Jody, of course. How can I forget Jody? She never let us rest. Come on up, Jody. Yeah, it just so happened that when we were getting ready to plan all of the particulars for this event, Jody had an appendicitis attack and had to go into emergency surgery. And then after that, she had a blood clot. So we're just thankful for her here today. And these people here, I want to give them a round of applause for everything they did to help put this special day for Julia together. And I thank you for being here. We have refreshments for everybody. We want to thank the ladies and the church members from El Buen Pastor Presbyterian Church and Smith Memorial for helping us put this together. And I'm going to hand the mic to each and every one of these people and see if they have something to say.
Just want to let Julia know that we love her very, very dearly. We just can't even think of Chimayo or John Hudson without her, but we wish her the very, very best and have lots and lots of fun.
Retirement will become you, I know, as working here was a great blessing to all of us who had children here and who had the pleasure of working with you over the years. So God bless, and we thank you again for all your years of service.
I didn't get to have Miss Hudson as a teacher, but I was very privileged that my daughter has had her for 2 years, and I'm just so glad that our daughter got to have that experience. And this morning, Jennifer looked at me as we were getting ready to come here, and she suddenly got a terrified look on her face, and she said, "Is Miss Hudson leaving today?" And I said, no, not yet. But that's the way we all feel, I think. Thank you so much for everything.
Well, Ryan, I have the mic now. I guess we chose the right MC. He's been a hoot. Of course, there's a lot of things I could say about her because she was my aunt before she was a summer school teacher to me, is all I had her as, because I just came in the summer. But some of you have known her longer than I have, because I'm not 40 yet. But there are several things, and one thing I wanted to say to Willa, your HUDs is now part of her internet sign-on. So that stayed with her. There was also another nickname from Stephen Martinez that was Granny Grumps. You should have seen her in her hiking boots playing kickball on the playground, on the asphalt. And we had many different things that we did that gone by the wayside, but we used to have sleepovers in the school. We used to hike to the chili mill. Still have the Easter egg hunts in the Arroyo. What else did we do? But anyway, there's lots of things, and when she moves, we already have a place reserved for my boys to go spend the weekend. So we get to go out.
So I want to thank everybody. And it's time to go have something to drink and something to eat. And, oh yes, I'm sorry. Hit me 2 times. Miss Julia, she's the last and the most important thing on the schedule of events today. She has her special words for you. Come on up, Julia.
That's why I'm supposed to do that.
Oh,
That's why I'm the
why
MC.
give me the mic?
See, who taught you how to read? Isn't that what you told me? Yeah. How are you people in the sun doing? It's hot, isn't it? It is. That's what you get for being late. See, you need a clock, just like mine. Here we go. So we have some special words from our guest of honor, Miss Julia Hudson.
I'm never a person to speak very long, so if you're terribly uncomfortable, hopefully it won't be for much longer. I'd like to thank all of you for being here. I'd like to introduce all of my family that is here. My sister Mary, who's over here behind Don, wave her hand. My brother Dan and his wife Roberta from Missouri. My niece Jody, of course, and her husband Billy, and the boys. Will you please stand up? And Brian's forgiven for not doing his homework because he's had a show in Santa Fe an NDI dance program for the past 2 weeks. And so he's also dancing tonight and 2 performances tomorrow. So if he didn't get some words written down, that's okay. We'll forgive it. Sitting with the boys is my great niece Megan, who came out with her grandmother from Wichita, Kansas, and we're very pleased to have her. And my cousin Martha, who came over from Felt, Oklahoma today. She's sitting back here in the red scarf, and her daughter Tammy, is that correct? I have not met Tammy, but I've heard about her. We're very grateful that they took their day to come over and join us. I do have many more nephews. They're mostly in Kansas, and one is in Missouri. They've all been here at some time during my stay, either for a work camp or to stay with me and to work and to dig up ants on the playground for ants farms and all kinds of things. I have one other niece who is in the St. Louis area where her parents live. She's married, and as of last week or 2 weeks ago, we heard that they're going to be having triplets. So I'm looking forward to babies. Then I have a lot of people that are in my extended family. Bill and Zick Soul, my pastor from senior high school, and his wife. And they have brought the work camp out from Hudson, Kansas for about 25 years. And so we're very grateful to them that they could go over from Kansas. Jose and Helen Medina, unfortunately, Jose could not be here. He's not well. I know he would appreciate cards from all of you kids that are here that knew him. He's in Santa Fe at home. Helen is here, over here with my sister. And beside her, her daughter, Peggy Giltro. And we're glad they could join us today. One of my former volunteers from way back in the 70s, Mary Mills, is over here. Mary always comes back. And her son DJ is back here. We're glad to have them. And we looked for Flossie a while ago, but I think she's in the kitchen. Flossie Montoya has worked with me for 30 years as an education assistant, and I'm truly grateful for the things she's done. And for Kathy, who was first my student, and for the past 12 years has been my right hand. She's helped teach music, she's helped teach art. Actually, she's taught the art program and planned it. She's helped to teach science and math, and we're grateful that she's going to be a teacher before too long. So thank you, Kathy. And I appreciate Sadie's work for the past 3 years and wish her well. And to the administrators from Menaul School for the past 30 years, at the Albuquerque Founders Day, one of the principals that I worked with, Dave Fontaine, was there, and he and Ryan Cordova have been talking to each other. One of them is at Gallup and the other one's at Zuni nowadays. It's always been wonderful to have work camps come, and for those of you who aren't part of the Presbyterian Church, you need to know that the Presbyterian Church is a connectional church, and we're all related to each other, and we are all connected, and we help each other with everything we do. I just want to highlight a few of the special things that have happened in the past 40 years. I think probably the scariest thing that ever happened to me was not with the children, but was in the yard back in the 70s when we had vandals that came in and were stealing things. I caught them in the act, So they came back and knocked in all the windows of my Corvair. That was pretty scary, but I survived. The saddest thing, or two sad things that I had to do during my stay here, one was the day when John F. Kennedy died. And I remember telling the first graders about his death because it happened during the school day. And if any of you know first graders, they're never very quiet for very long. But in my room, you could have heard a pin drop because everybody bowed their head and prayed for the Kennedy family. The other time was during Paul's stay here, I believe, when our friend Sean died of a brain tumor, one of the children, and that was a sad time. Couple of frustrating things. Back in the late 60s, I got infectious hepatitis and spent 6 months in bed. And at that point, I decided I didn't have to be all things to all people. So I cut back on my workload a little, not too much. The other thing, Dana, where are you? I did have some frustrating teaching days. Back in the 60s, I walked out of the classroom when I was teaching 29 first graders, all sitting in rows with desks, and I said, I'm going to do one of two things, either quit teaching or teach differently. So you can see what happened. I decided to teach differently. And probably the most exciting thing is still teaching first graders to read. That's my favorite task of everything I've done. So I would like to have anyone who was a student during the 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s, or 2000 to stand up wherever you are and wave your hand. Students from me, wave it away. You can see all different pages of people. And those who have had children here under my teaching, please stand or wave your hands. Okay, lots of those. Good. That's the rewards for teaching. You see, you plant a mustard seed and you just pray that it will come out just fine. And in many cases it does. Thank you.
They've asked me to, all these former students, when we are done here, would we all please come and take a picture here in front of the staircase. But in closing, I understand that when we're done here, there's a PowerPoint that Jacob Knight has done and has a flashback of the last 40 years. So you're certainly more than welcome to go over and see that. That's it. Something else? There's also a memory book there for everyone to sign, if you'd please do that before you leave. There's a picture book as well, and there's awards and refreshments over by the house here too. Just in closing, I'd like you to know what an honor and pleasure it is for me to be here and doing exactly what I do, and that's like to talk and like to visit with people and hopefully help you enjoy yourself. So I truly do appreciate having the opportunity to do this. You just had a flashback. Okay, go ahead.
Dawn and
Dawn.
I have something special.
Dawn and Joy have something special to do. You need music? Oh yeah, that's right. It'll just take a minute. No, the other jokes aren't worth telling, Don. I can't keep talking. I really can't. They have something special planned for everybody. I think some entertainment. It's not a auto harp anymore, is it? Yeah, brass instruments. Holy smokes.
Actually, I play the piano every day for the children now. The auto harp sort of went on the fritz and hasn't been fixed. At Christmas time, Don and Theo Helmstetter and I got together and we did a little jamming, and they insisted I had to play my horn today. I'm not sure how it's going to go because I haven't warmed up for the last 2 hours. We haven't tuned for 4 months, so hold your ears.
When I suggested this to Julia, she said, okay, I might as well go out in flames.
They said the Philharmonic, huh? That's great. That was good, and it wasn't flaming. That's pretty good. But again, it's an honor for all of us to be here and enjoy this time with you. And we certainly enjoyed all 40 years and all hour and a half of this. So that was great. We actually stayed on time. But I think we are done here, and if everybody, when we're done here, would like to go over and have some refreshments, look at the picture book, sign the memory book, and visit with Julia, you are very welcome to go over and do so. And there's shade over there, so that's great. So again, thank you all for coming today, and have a wonderful time. The alumni picture, immediately after this, we will take a picture right here. Okay, thank you all for coming.
Sent you this. Oh, great. She's babysitting. She might be. How are you doing? Good.
You know, on the way out here, I saw a bumper sticker. It couldn't have been more appropriate. It said, "We'll be here to make history."
Well, that fits you and me, doesn't it?
Oh dear.
Turned out to be a nice day, huh?
Thanks for teaching me how to make snowballs.
Oh, yeah, right. I think he's got his story a little screwed up. I don't think you were in on that. In fact, people.
You remember getting hit?
Oh, yes. I remember that snowball. Were you? Do you remember the snowball hit?
No, I don't.
I don't see. I think you were not in my room anymore because Peter was younger.
Yeah, he was about 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, about 2 years.
Oh, yeah. He's reminded me of that snowball every time he's coming up. Do you remember? He said, oh, yeah, his story originally was I made him miss recess. I think I
There'll be more vaccines than
And so we're
You got a place to visit?
why sure, right.
Every summer,
Oh,
every
I
summer
think
you
they're
go
taking. I think they're taking reservations already.
So did you guys come with the work camps also?
Oh, yeah.
I was part of all that.
Hey, how you doing?
trying to get one over here.
We can't see it any other way.
How are you?
Say happy retirement.
You playing?
And the grandkids, we can say we had 4 generations, so it's good.
Hey, yeah.
Divided by one.
Well, Molly and I'll be in touch because we owe you a little thing. And I think Molly has some furniture that she might want you to look at. We can keep it.
I told her you're at the top of my moving list.
Yes.
So I said, I don't know yet when I'm moving. So.
Whenever.
Although I heard from the grapevine that I do have an apartment, they have not told me that yet. Helen, she's good.
Good.
I've been whispering. And you went to school back east, but Kim lived in New Jersey, and as soon as she graduated, came back here to live. How amazing it is! And I wish Karina could be here, but her baby's due tomorrow.
When is it? Oh, so it's.
So she's just not in the mood to socialize or see people.
Glad you're back safe and sound too. Hello there. How are you, Gene?
Good, how are you?
A long time.
I can't believe how tall you are.
Really? Yeah, there was. I was noticing your guy.
It's hard to be hard to be.
Don't find
lots of cookies.
Yeah.
That I think will work it.
So what else are you doing?
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Well, I just did 2 weddings
I think they had cameras when we went there. Carwilla.
You know what I'm reading now is She's Come Undone by Wally Lamb. It's not a mystery. I'm fine, how are you?
Angie's taller than me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Almost.
Almost.
Look, I told my Uncle Frank, isn't it rough now that somebody's better? Oh. Yep. I forgot his name.
My brother Ryan.
Ryan, that's right. How was he?
So many memories. Boy, it was such an important time.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where
Look
Mrs.
around
P
me.
was. Point her out to Kim. Wasn't he saying anything? So I had started scratching notes down for speaking here in July. And so I thought, okay, I'm just using it. It's there. I don't have time to do anything else. So, but it was okay.
And I love the banner you have in front of the school, which
Cindy Michaels has been a volunteer.
Well, I wanted to come say hi to you.
You didn't miss me. How are you?
Well, I only came to say hi to you.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad.
And pay my ditch dues.
Oh, I paid the ditch dues. And your puppy, how cute.
You look good.
Thank you.
You hardly look different.
Oh, my hair's
Since I saw you the last time. Oh my gosh, it's been like 15 or 20 years.
Probably.
Well, maybe not that long.
Yeah. So do you live in Santa Fe?
For now.
For now. Brian last summer.
Yeah, he couldn't come at Ainsworth. He and his wife are glad they have a baby. They're moving back here. No, they got a land here. So it hasn't been like that. Where
is that usually teaching?
Of what? Oh, going back to school.
Can I just thank her for teaching me how to make snowballs?
Oh, you went to the snowball one?
Next time you don't put it back in the bag, we have to start probably not.
I put 6.
Well, don't get my stomach. Okay, now.
Oh, dear. Okay.
You should crawl in, drag it out.
Alright.
Not right now, but before that
Well, no, again.
Jody, where's your baby?
To the History and Retirement Center. It's behind Plaza Barcelona, behind the Federal building over there.
I'm going to try and see. You could just stand right here.
Will there be
That's okay.
no glare?
Huh?
No glare?
No, that'll be all right.
Make faces at me, Jennifer.
Just in case she gets nervous.
That's right. I don't like posed pictures.
Well, pretend like this isn't a pose, and that's...
Yeah, I know you told me that last time.
Well, it almost worked.
I'm not quite.
Made it my camera.
I ate broccoli.
Ready? Are you sure?
No, I'm ready.
I have lots of
Sure.
walk right in front of you.
Pictures, I think.
Really?
How did that video turn out that you took it to?
It came out fine.
Really? You can eat it? Okay. You're a tough subject. That's all I can say.
I know it. I'm better when I'm dressed up in
Now, how about
costume.
that
That's not bad.
one? Not bad?
I just don't like my mouth.
Well, that one's not open.
No, well, yeah, but come
So
see
many
me.
years, you know, to
No,
get there.
it's like as I was re-looking at the history
I
of
can
this
just
morning.
remember the first year I was here,
Yeah.
you by yourself and Mr. Medina.
Yes.
You know,
and
you
there
went
were-
through so much to have this school open.
Yeah, we did.
You did.
Yeah,
Did
well,
you
I couldn't have done it
could.
without you. You and Josephine.
Oh, she said she couldn't come because
What did she say? Cecilia told
A
me.
party probably or something.
Mhm.
A lot of graduation stuff coming.
Yes, we sure do.
I could tell. Why do you love it when Flossie's there? When I have you, you hate it so
Because I'm scared of you.
You are. Not even Jennifer's scared of me. She should be, right?
Right.
Okay, look at me. That's all I ask. Okay.